Hey, what's up, universe? It's 3:58 p.m. on Sunday, July 30th, 2023. I'm sitting out here on the porch enjoying this warmth, since I may only have like this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon to enjoy it from this venue. Just a couple quick updates. The first thing that's interesting is I happen to be looking on Indeed again for some positions, and very quickly, if not like, I think it might have been, it was one of the first jobs. I don't think it was the first job, but there's another role at Etsy that totally fits my skill set. And I went back and I double checked on Etsy, and again, like on Glassdoor, like they are one of the only companies I've ever researched where they have such high overall ratings and approval for the CEO. Like the reviews are pretty glowing. And the values, I researched the values of the company, and I'm like, almost not like word for word, but we're pretty aligned. And so I was like, all right, let's do this. So I went ahead and applied for this other position out at Etsy, and we'll see what happens. Now, what's interesting too is that I think I mentioned, well, I know it happened, but I think I mentioned it a handful of videos ago or so, but LinkedIn has like, hey, you showed up in these job searches, and Etsy was one of them. So I was very straightforward in my application. They had a section, a little box for a message to the hiring manager. And so I was very candid. I said, it looks like our values align. I mean, it was finessed more than this, but I was just very straightforward about how it's paramount for me to be aligned with the next organization that I'm employed by. And I shared myself vulnerably there as well. I invited them to check out 3 different posts on my LinkedIn profile, so that they knew who I was as a person, like what my values are. And that's part of the reason I made those on LinkedIn as well, is that so future employers knew who they were getting. You know what I mean? So, and then I provided them some links to my technical skill set and showcasing some of the software I've developed and things like that, and kind of my portfolio in a way. So that's an interesting development. We'll see what happens with that. And then another interesting thing is that my neighbor, I received a package in the mail from UPS the other day. It was not for me. It was for the people that lived here prior to me moving in. So my neighbor came by and was like, hey, there was a package delivered a couple days ago. And I was like, there was. So I'd brought it inside, and I wasn't sure what to do with it. I was just going to let Jason know about it. But the neighbor picked it up for this couple that lived here prior to me moving in. So we sat and we chatted for a while. So that was nice. This is the wife of the man that I met before. So now I've met, the couple. So that was cool. Other than that, just kind of been hanging out with the kids, and Milo's not feeling too well. Started last night, so today he's totally been resting. He's feeling under the weather. And for myself, as far as like the changes coming up, I've kind of been feeling into that, and that's a strange experience in a way, because there's not any I don't have any anxiety. I don't know where I'm going to go. Like, as I feel into, like, moving my stuff, and this is stuff that I spoke, to the woman, the wife of the neighbor, about this. She's like, well, where are you going? And I'm like, I'm not sure, and people's reaction is pretty similar most of the time when they kind of find out what's going on, or how some of the choices I've made. There's a bit of shock in the beginning. They're like, okay, like, and some people are like, you must be brave, and then it ties into like some other things that I've received, right? It's interesting. I've heard people be like, you'll figure it out, you always do, or like, that's pretty much almost a part of what everybody says. Like, oh, you'll be fine, you'll figure it out. And I appreciate that on some level, because that's what I look to embody. And at the same time, like, it feels a little invalidating. You know what I mean? Just because, like, yeah, I will figure it out. And it all does work out. But that doesn't mean that there's a whole lot of stuff to manage. You know what I mean? That doesn't I don't know. It just seems to marginalize, in a way, I don't know, perhaps that's my interpretation, I guess, but the work around making it look easy, you know what I mean? Because it's not. It's not. That's why people react with shock in the beginning, because they're like, what? And it's like, yeah, I don't know. And the only reason I can embody a calmness about it is because I've had to deal with that level of uncertainty before. You know. Anyway, it's, I just find it, I don't know, sometimes humorous and sometimes annoying, I guess, if I'm going to be honest. But, you know, I guess that's just the way it rolls. Let me see. Not too much else really to report. I can keep this short so I don't just kind of meander. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. No. I will say that, I think I mentioned this before in another video, but when I feel into the uncertainty about, like, where am I going to go, it's not so much, that's not really the thing that comes up for me about where am I going to go. The first thing that comes up for me is, like, how am I going to eat? Like, because I don't know. So the past couple days, because the kids have been here, I've allowed myself to have a little bit higher caloric intake, and so my body weight has increased a little bit. Not a lot, but some, right? Because I measure myself multiple times a day just because I'm curious, you know? And I like to see the pattern of, like, where I'm at. So I'm like, it'll be okay, because I'm not sure, you know, when I'll actually be able to eat. Now, I've thought about this too. Do I go to, like, soup kitchens or something like that? And then the other part of that is being mindful of the fuel for my car, because all of it is, you know, the reason I can't necessarily eat is because I don't have funds. And if I don't have funds, that means I can't put more fuel in my car. So I have to be mindful about my navigation, you know. And at the same time, I do feel, I just have this belief that something, it's all going to work out. It will all work out. I'm not feeling any, it's interesting. Once I decided to let go, I stopped feeling the anxiety, you know. I felt more anxiety for sure before I decided I was gonna let go. So, all right, that's for real. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. So thank you for being here. Thank you for journeying with me. Thanks for being a part of this. And I guess the one thing I was thinking about, sorry, I always do that, right? I'm gonna wrap this up, then I continue to go on. All right, one last thing. I did write another post on LinkedIn about the things that I'm grateful for. And then I linked to the Everlast's What It's Like song. And that song can always, like, it can get me. And the post was, you know, at the end I was like, I'm grateful to know what it's like to be human, you know. And for me, what that was intended to mean is that through all of my different experiences, and thanks to my experiences largely with Reese, I learned to have compassion and to see everybody on their own journey. You know what I mean? Like, to have compassion for myself first, obviously, and then compassion for everybody else, because as I've mentioned before, there's a lot of judgment and chatter I can have in my mind with the choices I've made. And so that song, What It's Like, to me, embodies that type of perception. So, where I can see myself in the data, you know, going back to the creation triangle. All right, for real this time. All right, I love you guys. Thanks for being here with me. Thanks for giving me some time and space. All right, love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.